Welcome to the latest episode of 5 on the Floor on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Thanks for joining us on your favorite podcast app. If you're Android, we recommend Spotify. Google Podcasts is gone. Or the 5 Reasons YouTube channel. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, turn the notifications on. Also, check us out on Apple Podcasts if you are an Apple person. Check out Off the Floor as well. That's $2.99 per month. That is our Discord. That's where you can communicate with us and other Heat fans and media all day long. We got 10 different channels on there. We've got other NBA games. Non-hoop stuff if you want to get in there, music, culture, promo deals, trade machine ideas. It's all there. Check it out at Off the Floor. It's the link is pinned right here in the description on the podcast feed, the YouTube channel, and to the top of the 5 Reasons Twitter page. Also, check out the great sponsors of the 5 Reasons Sports Network. So many of our local sponsors are big Heat fans. It's almost a prerequisite, including our friends over at Big Brother Ironwork. You can check them out at BigBrotherIronwork.com. If you want competitive pricing, you want a guarantee of steadfast fabrication and installation. You want your metalwork with aluminum fences, gates, pergolas, railings, and more. And you want a company with more than 20 years of experience that's based here in South Florida. And by the way, yes, licensed and insured and big Miami Heat fans. Check out BigBrotherIronwork.com. Again, that's BigBrotherIronwork.com. In English, you can call 786-406-5780. That's 786-406-5780. And ask for Abraham or en español. Well, I really should just read the numbers in Spanish, but 305-218-8681 and reach out to Daniel. BigBrotherIronwork.com. And now, today's episode.
Down the Biscayne. Yay. 5 on the floor. Ride for my dogs. Where here's the thing. You can check the score. Hustle hard, couple scars, wearing bubble frogs. Just like Butler said, you in trouble, y'all. Kept the floor playing. Got it all band. Y'all seen the block. Stop with one hand. And Pat we trust. It's power, have the guts. We're here to bring the heat. Y'all can hang it up.
Welcome to 5 on the Floor, a daily insider show on the Miami Heat and the NBA, featuring Ethan Skolnick, Greg Sylvander, and Alex Toledo, plus others from the 5 Reasons Sports Network.
You know why we're here today, other than for me to speak bad Spanish? I've gotten through entire 2-hour dinners speaking only Spanish, by the way. But
no way.
I have. My daughter doesn't.
How have you never mentioned this before?
There's a lot of things about my life I don't mention. But the only reason we're here is because I got a tweet today. Someone tweeted at me, my Twitter account, 5 Reasons Sports, and at the 5 on the Floor account. You can always check out the 5 on the Floor account. Actually, Sean Rochester runs that. I don't know if people know that. That's the 5OTF_ account. So you should be subscribed to that. Not subscribed, but following that as well as 5 Reasons Sports, which I run, by the way. The only reason we're here is because someone named Joel Prieto tweeted, "No basketball content in an in-between playoff off day is unacceptable. Can I expect something tonight at least?" So I'm going to respond. I'm
holding us accountable.
Holding us accountable in a way that you don't hold Spo accountable. Yes. And you'll be mentioned. Here we go. So here's today's floor plan. We don't really have a plan. We discussed today what we were going to do. And I just can't blow smoke up everybody's ass. That's basically where I'm at with this. I mean, we could do an episode about X's and O's and what they can change. And I will allow – yeah, thanks, Greg. I will allow Alex – and by the way, I have Alex Toledo. You can follow him at Tropical Blanket. And Greg Sylvander, you can follow him at Greg Sylvander. I will allow Alex – I'll give you 3 minutes later, sometime in this episode, to X and O a way to get this thing more interesting. That's fine, okay? But look, I mean, I think we have to accept some reality in this situation. They are overmatched. And I think what we saw, I give them credit for their fight in that first game. We address this, and we'll get to the fight specifically as we go forward. But I mean, their effort in terms of getting back into that game and scrambling with different rotations and some of the things that obviously Jaquez did in particular, and then DeLon Wright late and everything. We have questions about why Kevin Love didn't play more. There's basketball stuff we can do. And I give them credit, again, for getting themselves back into that thing. But I think what we saw early in the game is kind of what this is. Like, this is, the Heat they're without their two linchpins offensively, really. I mean, and I know people will say, well, it should be Tyler Herro, and that's another conversation. But the guy who can make something out of nothing on this team is Terry Rozier. And the guy who settles everything down for this team is Jimmy Butler. And they don't have either of them. And they've got Duncan Robinson, and it's hard for me to watch Duncan at this stage. Like, they've got Duncan playing at like 30%. Like, he does not look anything like he looks worse than the player we saw prior to his revival at the end of last year, and it's not his fault. I mean, he's dealing with a back injury he's never dealt with before, and it's not ideal for the future either. So it's just almost an impossible task. And so, Greg, I kind of wanted to get into some of the narrative stuff on this series because I'm following everything all this. I go to you. I'll give Alex his 3 minutes later, and it'll be just to prepare soliloquy on X's and O's and what Spo can do to get them back into this thing.
Take notes, Spo.
All right, exactly.
It's the toughest question of them all.
I'm holding you accountable to do at least as good as Spo would do. Okay, but Greg, I mean, the stuff that's been coming out about this organization from the media over the past, I can't get over it. Like this Brian Scalabrine thing, and I recommend everybody check out the video that I did. I did a 6.5 minute screed on this already, so I'll let you go in on it. I'm so tired. Okay, and look, it's not our job to do the bidding of the Miami Heat organization, but it's our job to call bullshit. All right, and I'm so tired of people who don't follow this team, don't know anything about it, don't have any access to it. Just say Heat culture and then they mock that, right? And don't know the people in it in particular. And to come out today, okay, for Brian Scalabrine, who was a bit player in Boston, I've been on his show on Sirius XM NBA Radio. He's on there with Isola. I've known Isola for 25 years. Isola's a troll, okay, good guy in real life, okay, but he trolls Heat fans all the time. For him to come out today or yesterday and then repeat it and double down on the Le Batard show that Eric Spoelstra, okay, who has been coaching since 2008, who has never once, Greg, been accused of being like a coach who uses dirty tactics, okay, by anybody credible, who is the lead assistant on the Olympic team, meaning that he coaches Jason Tatum and Drew Holiday, among others, okay, who was just named in an anonymous poll from players, although not so anonymously from Josh Hart, who wanted to go on the record, as the coach they would most want to play for.
Okay? That's interesting.
Okay. To accuse that coach of calling a timeout at the end of the game to call a code red, like from A Few Good Men, okay, like he's Jack Nicholson. Call a code red to go put a hit on Jason Tatum and use Caleb Martin with his underman. Let's just get as underman as the Heat are already. Let's go Caleb Martin suspended. One of our starters who had a great series against Boston last year, was almost Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Don't send Thomas Bryant. Don't send somebody. Send Caleb Martin out there, ignoring, okay, that Spo, for whatever reason, decided to use a challenge with a minute and a half left because he can only use challenges in the last 2 minutes, apparently. We've talked about that over the past few years. He used the challenge, which is the reason for the timeout, and then Drew Holiday pushed Caleb. It's right there on the video. Yeah. Pushed Caleb Martin in the back, okay, into Jason Tatum. To me, it's the capper, and we'll get into some of the others, on a week of just ridiculous media bullshit from the likes of Wilbon, Perkins, and all the rest of them, who, frankly, the Miami Heat should not speak to any of these people in any capacity ever again.
Loudmouths who know nothing about what goes on in Miami. And it's so evident when you hear them speak. They just parachute in one day, say one thing, and then parachute back out and go enter the hot take cannon and shoot it off at another organization. Just absolute garbage what he had to say, Scalabrine, and anybody else who insinuated that there was any code red. How dramatic are we getting? Can people just relax for 5 seconds with the code red stuff from Spo? Spo is not doing that. He's one of the most, like, if you talk about a guy who's going to uphold the beauty and integrity of the game of basketball, it is Eric Spoelstra. What are we talking about, people? So to me, it's completely ridiculous. These are people that are talking a bunch of bullshit just to hear themselves speak. I apologize for cursing, but that's just what it is. And you get to a point where you understand why they cover the same teams over and over again, and they're ignorant to what goes on throughout the rest of the league. It becomes really apparent come playoff time when you get guys behind microphones and they say the kind of dumb stuff that was mentioned this week about Spoelstra and Code Reds and Caleb Martin. If any player, Caleb Martin's one of the few guys playing that's going to play 40 minutes. Can we at least pick a guy who's going to play spot minutes? I mean, it's just total. It's
Send Patty
insane.
Mills out there. Like, what are you doing? Like, if Spo is calling a code red, I mean, he's calling the wrong number. Like, I don't understand it. And look, the Heat use Spo when you come to the arena. Alex, you see this all while you're usually late. But when you come to the arena, when you come to the arena a few minutes before tip, okay, there's a video about how to conduct yourself in the stands and to make it a good experience for everybody. You know who does the voiceover of that video? Eric Spoelstra. Okay.
What?
Like, yeah, I know you've never seen it. Well, that's also when you're avoiding eating in the media room. But yeah, look, the idea again that you're going to go after Spo, and this I think, okay, what we saw today, and we'll try to get into some basketball in this pod. All right, but like I think what you saw today was people who know Spo rallying to his defense, and I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm sorry. Sedano did, Tim Reynolds did, I did. If you've been around Spo long enough, okay, the one thing that you know beyond everything is what a compassionate human being he is. And I'm not going to get into specifics here. I've done it before, but I know things he's done for me as as someone who's a business associate of his, basically in that capacity, okay, and things he's done for others that I know, and things he's done for his players, things he's done for people inside that organization. He is a good person first. And this idea, again, that he would do that, even in the heat of competition, it doesn't even make any sense. Like, I don't know why you would do that. Look, all the Heat are trying to do, and I said this on the video, okay, play as hard as they fucking can right now. That's it. Like, just play hard. Just play hard and see what happens. Like, that, they know they're up against it, okay? Just play hard. And when you play hard, things are going to happen, especially when you're pushed in the back. Especially when you're pushed in the back. Like, nobody's going after Drew today, like, and say, okay, look, whatever. It got a little chippy at the end, all right? To accuse, again, and Drew is known as one of the best people in the game also, by the way, okay? I think you have to take that into some context. So anyway, that's where I'm at with it. The other stuff that came out this week, the thing about Wilbon and Perkins going after Heat fans for not being there 7 o'clock on a Friday night. I mean, seriously, I live in Fort Lauderdale. If I don't leave by 4, I won't be there, okay, until past 7 o'clock, okay? It's just not happening. And that's the case. It's an arena that's built on the bay. It's very nice for aesthetic purposes. It sucks for access purposes. There are 3 ways you can't get into that arena. There's only one way to go, right?
597 consecutive sellouts.
They get there somehow, right? They get there somehow, okay?
Just
but
not
it's
right
not
at the
easy.
beginning. Especially
No,
not
it's
for
not right
a
at the
7 p.m.
beginning.
start.
And if you are not, and if you can't pay a discounted rate at Bayside, okay, which we get, okay, as that we pay, but we pay a discounted rate, you are searching for parking all over the place. Miami city planning sucks. The public transportation sucks. One of the trains you're going to take is probably going to kill 3 people on the way down there. It is not, I'm sorry. Well, they never sponsored us. It is not an ideal situation, okay, to get to that arena. And by the way, when you're trying to get into the arena itself, it's one of the slowest processes I've ever seen. It really is. Like the Dolphin, it's better at the stadium. Honestly, it's better. It's gotten, since COVID, it's gotten really bad. And I'll just say that flat out. They need to fix that. Okay. And then when you come in, then everybody goes to the concession stands, which I will tell you are among the slowest in the entire league. I've been around the entire league. So all of these things come together. So who gets blamed? The fans. And that was bullshit. And the other thing that was bullshit, I'm sorry, is Kendrick Perkins. What if the Heat make every shot? Well, did you see this one? This is the one that Sean went after. Our Sean Rochester went after. If they make every 2-point, 3-point shot, they're still going to get swept. No, Kendrick, math. If they make every 2-point and 3-point shot, they will likely win. Okay, as would the Detroit Pistons, as would the Sacramento Kings, as would the Atlanta Hawks, as would the Washington Generals. If you make every shot, you're going to win. This is what happens, and after the break, we will get into some actual analysis, okay? And I'm going to let Alex take it. This is what happens when you don't follow a team. You have nothing to say. You have nothing to say. They don't know anything about any of these players. They have basically been following 3 teams the entire season, maybe 4, because Stephen A. talks about the Knicks. They talk about a Lakers team that's likely going to get swept, okay? They talk about a Warriors team that's already in Cancun, and they talk about the Celtics and then again the Knicks. That's it. They have not followed any other teams. They can't tell you anything about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They can't tell you anything. The Nuggets, do you think they know, any of these people even know who Peyton Watson is when he's their sixth man now or seventh man now? And this is the champions? All right. It's disgusting coverage, and it is a Northeast thing. SiriusXM NBA, which I've been on, is populated with New Yorkers and Bostonians. We've talked about the Ringer in the offseason, which was anti-Heat on the entire thing, mostly Bostonians and New Yorkers, okay? And ESPN is all Boston, New York, and LA. That's where they're all from, okay? We've got two people from this area in South Florida who happen to be two of my good friends who still work at ESPN. You don't see them on those shows. They were both at the game the other night, but you don't see them on those shows, okay? So I just wanted to get that off my chest. After this spots, we'll talk basketball. We do have some good news today. This is the thing that made me happy while following all of their coverage. Prize Picks is back in the state of Florida. We told you, we weren't lying. We absolutely told you that this was going to happen. Now it's going to be a little bit different, okay? Same code, 5 FIVE. Get that initial deposit matched up to $100. That is the same, okay? The game is a little bit different. It's a peer-to-peer game, and it's called Prize Picks Arena. We recommend that if you're on there already, you go check it out. The instructions are all there, but basically you're going to be put in a group and you create a lineup, okay, of the up and down that you want in terms of different players. So come check it out. You can go up to 4 different players on there. We'll be giving you more details as we go forward and more on the YouTube channel, but we are happy to say that Prize Picks is back in the state of Florida, and you can still use our code, the code FIVE, get that initial deposit matched up to $100. Also do want to mention our gambling partner, and that's Better Edge, and that is also still legal in the state of Florida. That's been legal all along. That's where we tell you to find the line that you want. Also, we run different competitions on there. For that one, use the code 5RSN, and you get $20 to play. So betteredge.com, use the code 5RSN. All right, Alex. Other than all this stuff that's going on off the court, tell me how the Heat make it interesting.
Like I said earlier, this is the toughest question of them all. And so I can do as much stalling up for time as I want to, and I'm still not going to come up with a solid answer.
Let me know if I need to go get a soda. Am I good? A little left?
No, you're good. You're good. I think, honestly, there's a lot of things that they can do better. That doesn't mean they're going to win the series. They're almost definitely not going to win the series. A miracle would have to happen. An actual miracle from God himself would have to happen. And I'm not getting religious here. Just objectively, for them to win the series, that's where I'm at, right? They're clearly overmatched. They're not supposed to win. I love, we love that they love being backed into a corner and that they can perform well in those circumstances. That's great and all, but usually that's with Jimmy Butler in the lineup, not to mention Terry's not there. Duncan is obviously not himself. That's damn near 3/4 of your shot creation right there. There's a whole lot they have to make up for with the guys that they have missing. What you can't do is start off the game, first of all, how you did the other night, where whatever it was, 12-0 to start off the game. And a lot of it was the Heat playing kind of, bad offensive process, which is what ended up getting them their first 2 buckets with Bam, because he was just kind of reading the matchup, playing one-on-one and breaking the ice there. But that for the beginning of the game, and then, of course, throughout the rest of the game, there was the offensive process is just not good. And it's easier said than done. You can't just say, number one, fix the offensive process. How, right? Without Duncan, without Terry, I should say without Duncan looking like himself, without Terry, without Jimmy, how do you do that? I think, you can even point to better ball and player movement. That's always the thing you can point to. How do you create better ball movement where the Celtics actually have to rotate and scramble? I think those are the real questions that, Spo has probably been staying up the past couple of days for, just trying to figure out answers to. And it's there is no easy answer because they're playing Bam one-on-one, right? They're kind of you don't have a lot of great 3-point shooting threats. You're missing a lot of them. Bam is somebody who wants to, take his middies, and if not, is a screen and roller. So it's not like he is this dynamic one-on-one player who is always going to create good shots, right? So they can afford to play one-on-one. And the Tyler thing, Drew Holiday made it really hard for him the other day, and
he's got to be better.
No, yeah, he's got to be better. I think he will be. I don't think he's going to have as bad of a game in game 2. But there was nothing there easy for them, right? Like there was some wide open shots that Tyler missed in that game, but most of the shots he was taking were not like it was not great looks. And he wasn't forcing bad ones. I think he had to get up some shots, but like he is in such a bad position, right? And I think I mentioned this on playback as well. All of us know, right? Tyler Herro fans, non-Tyler Herro fans, all of us know he is not a number one option, especially without like other guys who can support him. They're in a really bad position, and they're going to have to find creative solutions to overcome this. They're going to have to find a way to move the ball more. And then on defense, I think that's the stuff that there's real upside for. Because on offense, you could go, play more Kevin Love, play more Jovic, and kind of have them have the ball a little bit too, more cutting, things like that. I think you can do that. Again, like I mentioned on the show, you have to play a low turnover game, and you have to be turning them over. Now, how do you turn them over, right? I think you got to go back to some of that man stuff and kind of the regular help defense principles that they ran in the past Heat Celtics matchups. I think, and Cooper Moorhead, who does fantastic work, mentioned this in his article. There's a reason, right, that they didn't play a lot of zone against the Celtics this year, right? It's a tough matchup to play zone against because they're playing 5 out now with Porzingis, which, by the way, Jovic was really upfront about this after the game, saying that like having Porzingis there makes it a lot harder for them. He straight up said it was a lot easier last year because there was no, 5 out big who can also post up a mismatch. And even though it's he just shoots over you, it's not like a post hook or anything and not backing you down. Porzingis will take advantage of that. So there's no easy solution to switch that, right? If you're zoning, you put Porzingis in the middle of the zone, and they were finding easy looks over and over again, especially when the Heat were doubling out of the zone. I don't want to see that, not for a single possession in this game. I don't want to see them double out of a zone like early on in a possession until like maybe somebody gets beat and they have to, right? I don't want to see that at all. I think you have to play a really, really disciplined defensive game. You can't turn the ball over. You probably play less zone and try not to overhelp early in the shot clock. And you honestly got to trust your defenders a little bit more. You got to trust your Haywoods and your Bams. And maybe you go to more Jovic guarding Porzingis for this, Bam guarding Tatum. Like you show that look just to throw something different out there. When your positive defenders are out there, you got to trust them. I think sometimes they lean back into their overhelp principles, and it's like it doesn't create, good. It's not a good solution, right? Because it's creating great looks for the Celtics, not good looks, great looks. They're getting wide open shots, right? Like you have to prevent those wide open looks. You have to let Tatum and Brown play one-on-one. You have to let Porzingis play one-on-one at some point, like versus like their actual primary matchups, not versus mismatches. I think you got to trust your defenders. Play a disciplined defense where you're still helping, but you're not over helping early in the shot clock. And I think after that, you live with the results. You hope that the Celtics are complacent, have a bad shooting night, which happens with 3-point shooting variants. They've got a lot of great shooters, but they can have a bad shooting night. If you turn them over, which is hard to do without Jimmy getting his 3 playoff steals a game, right? I think that is the blueprint. Now, maybe that gets you a game. Again, maybe, just maybe you can get 2. But for now, you just have to worry about getting 1. They're not going to win the series.
Just get 1.
They can do better than what they did in game 1.
Don't let us get 1. You mentioned the turnovers. They didn't have a live ball turnover in the game, I don't think. I went back and looked after we talked about it yesterday. You can't create easy opportunities if you can't get live ball turnovers. And you mentioned
that the Celtics were eating off in the beginning.
Well, you mentioned the 3-point shooting too. If you take Tatum's 1 for 8 out, the other 7 guys in the Celtics rotation, because they only played 8, the 7 guys who played, they all made at least 2 threes, and none of them shot worse than 40%. Like it wasn't like one guy. It's like it was literally every. And we do have to give the Celtics credit. And see, this is the thing about it, Greg. As I pivot back here, that is frustrating about this is I don't think any of us is trying to diminish this team that the Celtics have put together. They made very smart trade for Porzingis. Worked out better than I thought it was going to work out. He's been great for them. And Drew Holiday was gifted to them basically by Joe Cronin. So great. You took advantage of it. Fantastic. Okay. Brad Stevens has done a hell of a job. Like there's no way around it. And the Heat have great respect for Brad Stevens, by the way. I know that I used to see anytime you would be at Summer League, I would be Summer League in Vegas. Stevens was sitting with Riley. Like there is respect. I know the Ainge Riley thing, But since Stevens has ascended into that front office, and look, give them credit too with the Udoka situation. We know how good a coach Udoka is. We saw that this year with Houston. And obviously Missoula has grown into the role in some capacity to be able to put this thing together. We'll see if they can win a title. I still think the Nuggets win the championship. But I give them credit, and I want to give them credit, but it's the other stuff that's got me. It's their fans who are just being ridiculous about. It's the media. It's the national media. Like
the crumbling in big moments.
Right. It's it's like the Jason Tatum anointing too. Because I'll just say this: he's a very good player. All right, but like he's not that guy. I'm sorry. Like he's not that guy in the sense of like when you go into a series. Like if you're talking about a guy who's a top 5 player in the league, okay. If the Heat were going to a series against Luka, I'd be scared to death of Luka. Okay. Shit, I'd be scared to death of Shea for what we saw with him this year. Okay. Scared to death of Jokic. Okay. Even Embiid, if he's healthy. I mean, Giannis, Tatum's really good.
But one way to be scared of Tatum is Tatum and Bam and Spo. Then I could be scared of Tatum.
Well, I know. Well, see, we're going to have to change all this. We have to delete all this when he wants to come to Miami in a couple of years. But again, Spo tried to take him out, right? Like, so he sent Caleb Martin on a code red. Okay. You can't handle the truth, Greg. Scalabrine told us the truth. You can't handle it.
Disgusting.
That Spoelstra is sending out trying to maim people.
He told Drew to push Caleb into Jason Tatum.
Right, because he's going to be coaching Drew in the Olympics. So he told Drew, he said, hey, go out there and you're going to take Tatum out, and then you'll get more shots because Drew only took 8 shots in the game. So he would have got more shots if Tatum wasn't going 1 of 8 from 3, right? So take him out. It's just moronic and it's ridiculous. And I'm glad, by the way, and I'll mention this now, that the game is going to be back on Bally Sports on Wednesday. So we will have that on our playback feed as we're following the game. You can listen to that in the background, or you can listen to us. We appreciate everybody who was with us for the entire game. Also, we do want to mention on playback, playback.tv/5RSN, we are following the other games. So I know if you listen to this tonight, some of the guys are going to be watching the Knicks-Sixers game on there. So you may have to deal with some Knicks and Sixers fans, but you can at least watch with Matt, Eternal, Ray, and the rest of our group on there. Tomorrow, Tuesday, Tony Fiorentino will be joining. So we'll talk to Coach Tony. Honestly, I had scheduled this a week ago. We had to push it back. It's the perfect timing. Like literally, like the topics we talked about today, Tony went after, what do you go after? He went after Kendrick Perkins. He will not hold back about this stuff. He is the professional voice of the Heat fan. So we'll have Coach Tony on tomorrow. Eric Reed would say similar things, but they'd be said in a lot nicer way than Tony would. All right, Alex, we appreciate you giving us the reasons that they may be able to get a game. Greg, you mentioned it. I'll finish here. I'll let you maybe close it here. I mean, all the things we talk about, the one guy who needs to get his shit together by Wednesday is Tyler Herro, right? Like that's the one. Okay.
Yes. I mean, if you have one guy with the most at stake on the team and his standing with the team, it's Tyler Herro, and it starts game 2.
Yeah. All right. So we'll see what happens there. So I didn't want anybody to think we neglected it. We hit on it the other night, and obviously he's got to be better in game 2. Just no way around it. However they get him free, whether it's off the ball or whatever, he needs to perform. And he has at times come back. We saw him do it in the play-in game, but hasn't happened yet. You shaking your head, Alex, or is it me?
Alex hates that narrative.
No, I don't. It's not the narrative. It's just like hearing you talk about like everything Tyler has to. I'm just like, oh man, this is just not gonna go well.
I wouldn't want to be. I wouldn't want to be him right now.
Like a big comeback game, and now if it's not like a good game, and it's just like another like it's a better version of game 1 where it's not good, but maybe it's not terrible. Like that's not going to do it either. He's going to get so much backlash regardless. So it just makes me roll my eyes a little bit because he was bad. He can't be that. He can't continue being that bad. There's no.
Alex, what is better for him? What is better for him ultimately? I hate to put it in these terms.
What is better for him is to be
no
position that he's supposed to be in, which is if guys were healthy, right? It's just not
right.
The case,
I know, or catch a shoot, but that's not what I mean. I'm not going to X and O with you here at the end of it.
I'm not even talking about X and O's. I just mean he's not a number 1 option. It's not even X's and O's. He's in such a position that I don't think he's going to be successful in, and he's doing it against perhaps the second best team in the league, the team with the best record, and the no holes on defense. Like, good luck, Tyler.
What do you think would be better? This is the question I'm trying to get at. I'll let you both answer this. What is better for him in terms of perception and what he's going to hear? Is it better for him if he just gets hurt in game 3?
Oh God.
Or if he just can't ever break loose against this team playing healthy.
You
can't get hurt again.
Play healthy.
Yeah, that's just not gonna make anything better. It's just gonna bring back the other narrative. Like I'm saying, he can't win either way in the position he's in right now. But no, he's got.
I feel for him. The thing about Tyler that I will say is he is endlessly professional about certain things, and he really just, again, we don't know these guys that well, but he's just always seemed like a good person to me. And I saw him the other day after the game in the locker room, and there was a crowd waiting to talk to him, and he had his feet in the tub and all that, so we were surrounding him. And Eric Glass, who's an assistant for the Heat, of course, came in, and he had his son there. And Tyler was the kid was a cute kid, obviously. The kid was like, Tyler said, I haven't seen you in a while and all the rest of this. And the kid was basically like doing an interview. He was like, he was essentially like, and Tyler's like, what can I do better? And he's like, well, you had a double-double, so maybe you could hit more threes. And it's just like, I'm just watching Tyler there, and I'm watching the way that he's handling stuff with us and the pressure. Well, yeah, maybe he should be interviewing instead of us because he was holding him accountable. But I'm watching this, and I'm just like, he really, he's really treated people the right way. He's handled the situation, I think, really well. What he's had to deal with. But you're right, man. Right now, it's just a no-win deal. Like, I mean, unless he comes out and scores 35 and they win, and then people are going to complain he took too many shots. Like, it's tough right now. It's tough. It's tough all over. Brian Scalabrine apologized to Eric Spoelstra. Stat. Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you for listening to the 5 on the Floor on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. After all, someone needs to listen to my dad.